Just give me a minute. Yeah. I hope you can see my screen now. So I'll go to the straight away question number 1. I'll skip these. One thing, make sure that please do mention your team details, your contribution, the challenges. Don't say we faced a lot of challenges and we're done. Don't give generic answers. Give specific challenges you faced. You ran index out of bound, your program was crashing, you node instruction was causing a failure, or it was not sorting properly, or you are not, where are you making a mistake? So with respect to your assignment, give those challenges and not, we found the problem, we worked hard. Those are not going to help you. But do mention team details. At least 25% people, I don't see these happening. Make sure program name is right. Sometimes I see programs not even with extension .c or .java, so that doesn't work. So make sure you are fine with, comply with all these details. So let me, and if some questions are with the graph, if assuming they are with the graph, then you assume that graph would be given like this in a file, whereas first line tells you the number of nodes, number of edges, and for each edge you say node A, node B, and the cost. If it's an undirected graph, there will be two such edges. You'll have one edge U, B, and C, and other edge will be V, U, and C. If it's a directed graph, so U, V, C always means node U to node V with a cost of C. So for undirected graph, specify two entries, one for U and one for V. And this is the example I have given you there. So look at it that way. Now let's look at first question. And the first question is, given an input sequence of numbers, build a max heap. Max heap means that root is always higher than its children, then each children would be higher than others. This is what we discussed in the class. And perform heapify operation, meaning within the array, follow the algorithm, do that, and basically you follow, you'll basically get max heap operation. Now we need to do this. Our objective is to sort the element in ascending order. So using heap, how do we do that? So essentially what we say is we perform a DeleteMax, perform a DeleteMax operation. That means remove the highest node. And then how do we rebuild the heap? And that is what I would like to show you. And once you remove one element, if there are n elements, you are left with only n minus 1. So removed element, put it at the end of the array and rebuild the heap. And repeat the process till your heap becomes empty, and that is when you get ascending order. So let me just show you an example there. Consider that the original question we discussed in the lecture notes, that this is the input element 291657. If we build a max heap would look like this. 9, which is the root, is the root, and then is two children, 6 and 7. 6 is bigger than 2 and 5. Now, so and the heap P5 operation will basically give me this. Note this is not neither ascending nor descending order, but this indicates heap. This is index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, index 6. So element at index 1 is bigger than 2 and 3. Element at index 2, which is 6, is bigger than at elements index 4 and index 5. Element 7, which is at index 3, is bigger than element index 7, and hence it is a heap. But if we look at by itself, it is neither a descending order nor an ascending order. So having built a heap, how do you perform the DeleteMax? Let's say we need to perform one DeleteMax operation. That means delete 9. So how do you go about deleting 9? That means we basically take this, remove this element. And now how do we rebuild the heap? So take the last element, which is this, and move this element to the top of the heap. So this becomes 1. And now look at, does it satisfy the heap operation? We know that 1 is less than 6 and 7, so 1 has to go down the tree. Now find the two children. The two children are 6 and 7. Find out which is the bigger of the two. In this case, 7 is bigger. So we move 7, exchange, this becomes 7, and 1 comes here. Now when 1 comes here, again do the heapify. Is 1 bigger than its children? And since we already removed this node, so my heap would become essentially, if we look at, when I clean this up, heap would become, this is removed, 1 goes there, 1 is smaller, so 7 would come here, you will get 7 here, and you will get 1 would basically come here. So element becomes 7, 6, 1, 2, 5, and that is how my heap would become 7, 6, 1, 2, 5, and the element which we removed goes to the last array index. Now my heap has only 5 elements. Perform another heapify operation, that means DeleteMax delete 7. When I delete 7, this 7 goes away. Now look at the last element, which happens to be 5. So we move 5 to the top and compare it max. 5 is greater than 1, but 5 is not greater than 6. So swap 5 with 6. So 5 comes here and 6 goes there. So my heap would become 6, 5, 2, and this value happens to be 1. And the one element we removed, which is 7, 7 would basically move to the last index because my heap has only 4 elements. So we look at my heap. 6, 5, 1, 2 is my heap. And 7 has come to the last array because my heap has only 4 elements. So array is being replaced, elements. And now I do perform next delete, delete 6. When I delete 6, do the same operation, delete the 6, take the last element, move it to the top, and then satisfy heap operation. Now 2 is less than 5, so we exchange 2 and 5. 2 comes here and 5 goes there. So my heap looks like 5, 2, and 1. And that is what we'll basically see, 5, 2, and 1, and 6 has come to the next empty position. Repeat the process in this way, delete 5, and so on, and that is what you'll basically build a heap. And if you see finally, when you remove every element, the array you get is ascending order. So if we start building a max heap, so max heap would, given the input operation, max heap will take you order n time, the heapify operation. And now we're doing DeleteMax, we are doing n DeleteMax, and each time we delete, it takes log n time because to do adjustment, so time taken is n log n, and that is the reason we said one cannot do less than n log n time. This is what the question number 1. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask any questions, then I'll proceed to the next. Any doubts from anyone on this performing max? Then I'll proceed to the next one.
Sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, you said ascending order. Sir, Aruna, sir.
Yeah, Aruna, tell me, Aruna.
So you said ascending order, no, sir?
Right,
After deleting the
So look, finally, if you look, this heap, what you get, is done with ascending order. When you get the array finally, you get an ascending order. So point
sir.
is, you build a max heap, keep
Okay,
removing
sir.
the highest element, keep moving the element to the end, because we remove one element, array size becomes one less, the heap size, so one element extra at the end. So keep moving at the end, and you finally get the ascending order.
Okay, sir.
Got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question? If no, let me move to second one. Second one is just the reverse. Implement it in descending order means now we implement min heap and not the max heap. And then keep doing delete min operation. So given this same way, perform min heap operation, EP5 operation to do min heap. Sorry, this is not a max heap. This should be min heap. Perform a min heap operation and then keep doing delete min. And you delete the min, the element you remove, because heap size has become one less. So put in the last element which becomes empty, and once you finally, you'll basically see, because last element smallest will come here, and next smallest will come here, and you basically get descending order. If I want to sort using descending order, I start with min heap, keep delete min, and this is in place movement of element, and I basically get descending order of my array elements. Same example you can look at. Let's say this is the example I took. If you take a min heap, my min heap will look like this. 1, the two children, 1 is less than 5 and 2, 5 is less than 6 and 9, 2 is less than 7. So my heap will look like 1, 5, 2, 6, 9, 7. This is the heapify operation. This is neither ascending nor descending. Now to perform descending order, we do a delete min. That means delete 1. But this will be delete 1, not delete 2. Delete 1, and 1 is goes to the last index, and do the same thing. Take the last element here. So essentially what we are saying is we delete this, sorry, and move the last element, which is 7, move 7 to the top. And we move 7 to the top, compare 7 with the children. Now 7 is larger than both the children. Find out the smallest children. The smallest children happen to be 2. So exchange 2 with 7. So 2 comes here and 7 goes there. Now you look at 2 is less than both his children. 5 is less than both his children. So we basically get a heap 2, 5, 7, 6, 9. And 1 is here. Now we do perform delete min 2. That means I basically delete 2. So 2 would come at the last position here. And do that as well. Okay. Now can you see that if we, so let me repeat. Essentially, when I do a delete min, delete 1, and you are left only these elements. Take the last element, which is 7, move to the top of the heap, which are saying we delete 1 here, move 7 to the top. Let me clean up again. I'll do only for 2 operations, and then we save. To perform delete min, we delete min. That means delete 1. Look at the last element, which is 7. Move to the top. So 7 goes here. Is this fine so far? And now if you look at Now you look at this 7, compare with 2 of its children. We are doing a MinHeap. So look at the smallest children and exchange. 2 the smallest children. So exchange 2 with 7. 2 comes here and 7 goes here. And the last element we already have removed. So my heap would basically become like this. 2, see, remember we moved 7 to the top and compare 7 with both the children. Exchange is smaller. 2 becomes top. So I get heap is 2, 5, 7, 6, 9. And that is what I get my heap. Now when I do a Deletemin again, that means I delete 2. Take the last element of the heap, which is 9. Move 9 to the top. And then again see, does this satisfy heap property? Now 9 doesn't satisfy because 9 is bigger than 5 and 7. We're looking at MinHeap. So look at the smaller of the children, which is 5. Swap. So 5 goes to the top. And my 9 comes here. Now again see, is do a MinHeap operation. Is 9 bigger than 6? See, this is already gone. 9 is bigger than 6, so perform again. So 6 goes here and 9 comes here. So my heap basically becomes, if we look at, when I do this operation, my heap becomes 5 at the top, 7 here, 6 here, and 9 here. So you get heap 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, and then 9, and 2 has basically moved here. And that is what, and then keep repeating same process, remove 5. When you remove 5, we basically remove 5, take the last element, 9 goes here, and then look at the smaller children. So 6 would come here, and 9 would come here, and so my heap would become like this, 6, 9, 7, and that's what you get. And finally, you keep doing a Deletemin, you basically get array in descending order. So if I need to sort in descending order, I build a MinHeap, keep doing a Deletemin, I get heap in ascending order. If I need to sort in ascending order, I perform a max heap and keep doing a DeleteMax, I get the ascending order. That was the question 1 and 2. Any questions about this? Let me know if any questions, otherwise I'll proceed. Hello, any doubts about this? If no, I'll move to third question. Third question is basically heap insertion. So essentially take your full name in an array, build a heap. You can take max heap or min heap, choice is yours. And let's say I'll take an example and then do insert. So assuming your first name is computer, put the each character in the array, perform lexicographical order, and perform a max heap. When you perform a max heap, the array becomes like this. Hello, I'm audible here? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Because my internet is fluctuating, so I'm just not sure that there is a night. And any point in time, if you find you have a problem or I'm not able to audible, give me a call at, I'm writing my number in chat box. So either this number or you can call me at, to make sure that I'm audible, otherwise I may lose track. So when you perform heapify operation, this is what you will get. And then you do insert, I'll show you, I want to insert signs, so I'll show example of inserting as how does it work. And let's look at how it will work out. So this is computer. If you perform a max heap, your heap would look like this. Look, U is bigger than R and T, R bigger than both P and O, P bigger than children C, T bigger than M and E. So this gives you max heap of computer. And the heap looks like this array. Now you want to insert signs. So I want to insert a letter S. Now to insert a letter S, how do I insert? Basically take the letter S, add it at the end. So I put insert S here. And since we are doing a max heap, see, does this letter S satisfy the max heap? You know, this S is bigger than P. That means I'm violating the heap. So swap S with P. So basically S goes here and P comes here. Again check, does S satisfy the heap operation? S is smaller than R. We are doing a max heap. So S has to go to the top and R has to come here. Check again, S is less than U. That is a max heap. So my heap look like U, S and T. Then you get an R. This side remains the same, and C and P. So this happens, I get a heap when I insert the letter S, essentially saying insert at the end, do bubble up. And then next time we need to do insert, let's say we need to signs, so we insert C here, and again keep doing bubble up operation, and that is the way you build basically series of insert operation. When you do series of insert operation, you will basically see your finally your heap will look like something like this. So to insert about 7 letters, so means insert at the end, keep checking registered with the property, keep doing bubbling data. And that's what the process is, and that's why you do heap insertion. Any question here?
So can you go through once again?
Okay, sure.
Because due to network issue, I didn't.
No, sure, that's fine. Is this part okay for computer? This is my max heap. Any questions about this?
Yes.
This is fine.
No, sir.
Like max heap, use the top, U bigger than R and T, R bigger than P and O. Now I want to insert my letter signs into this heap. How do I insert? Take the first letter S, add it to the end. So basically S comes here. Now check S with the parent. Is it satisfying max heap property? Max heap means children should be smaller than the parent. Now here, when I put the S is bigger than the parent, that means swap. When I do a swap, so S goes there and P comes here. S goes here and P comes here. Is this okay so far? Chandan and anybody, is this fine?
Yes, sir.
Now again see S, is it satisfying max heap? No, because S is bigger than R. So we have to move S again. So move S to the top. So S comes here and R comes here. Now check again, does S satisfy my heap? Now S is less than U, so my heap is satisfied. So that means my heap will look like, if we look at U, it becomes S and T, and R has come here, so this becomes R and O, and this becomes C and P, and this side remains as it is. So after inserting one character, this is how my heap look like. Is that fine, or any questions about this? This is what we call is perform bubble up. When you insert element, insert at the end, keep checking with the parent, does it need to go up? That's what the question is. Any questions about this?
So initially we can take any array and then we have to insert any
And so
one later or
element
directly perform.
at the end, I keep checking is it satisfy the heap. So my heap has to be satisfied. So at most, if it is smaller, it is fine. If it's bigger, keep swapping with the parent. Stop when you are done. This is called the insertion. Okay.
Oh,
And then repeat the same thing. Now I need to insert as the next letter is L. So I need to insert signs. We're saying we want to insert signs. So my S is inserted. Now to insert C. So C would basically come here. And I'll make left till de novo. This already satisfies my heap because C is less than O. So nothing to be done. Now look at next letter I. I comes here. This again satisfies heap property, so nothing to be done. Now we look at E. This again satisfies property, nothing to be done. Then we'll next is N. We insert N. Now N doesn't satisfy the heap property. That means I need to swap. So N goes here and M comes here. Now does N satisfy heap? Yes. N is less than T, so we stop there. And so finally, if you keep doing it, you'll basically get a heap, which is max heap, inserting one letter at a time. And your final answer would be something like, I just shown you previous case. This is how your actual heap would look like. Is that fine? Any questions on this? If no, I'll proceed. Next question is basically modification. Same process. Let's say I get a heap. When you get a heap, how do you modify? Let's say given element is smaller or bigger. So let's say I want to modify 1 to 8. So this is my heap I got. This is my heap. And I want to modify 1 to the 8. So 1 becomes 8. Now how do I check? Since this is a max heap, sorry, this is a min heap. Here it is a min heap. I need to see, is 8 less than 5 and 2? It is not. Then look at the smaller children and swap. That means 2 would go here and 8 comes here. This becomes 2 and this becomes 8. Now again see, does it satisfy my heap property? No, because 8 is bigger than 7, so swap. So 8 comes here and 7 goes here. Sorry. So I want to change 1 to 8. I make it 8. Check with, is it satisfy heap? It is a main heap, it does not, because 8 is bigger than 5 and 2. Then look at the smaller children, which is 2. So 2 goes here and 8 comes here. Again check 8. Is it a min heap? No, because 8 is bigger than 7. So 8 moves here and 7 goes to here. So my heap becomes, look, 2, 5, 7 is here, this remains same, and 8 get here. So this gives you, after modifying 1. So if you modify any element, again look at whichever element I modify, it has to maintain heap property. So depending on, in case of min heap, if I'm decreasing the value, you have to go bubble up. If I'm increasing the value, it has to go down, sink down. So either you do what is called bubble up operation, bubble up, or sink down, depending on what you have done. If it is a min heap, if you are increasing, it sink down. If it is decreasing, do bubble up. If it is a max heap, If you are increasing, it is going to sink down. If it is decreasing, it's going to bubble up. That's what you need to basically look at, and that's the assignment number 4. Any questions about this? Assignment number 4. First, build a max heap, look at the element, modify it, and then see what you really get. That's all I'm trying to say that. Okay? So I'm saying value of node 1 increased by 1, value of the last node decreased by 1, and maintain the heap property. That's all we're trying to say. So that essentially 1 becomes 2, and 10 becomes 9, and you have to adjust for this and adjust for this, but do one adjustment at a time, and this should be doing it. This is basically assignment number 4, as I explained. Any doubts, clarity, let me know. And I'll move to the next one. If no, let me move. Next is the optimal encoding. Let's say I want to look at the encoding of the names of a team. So take the names, count the frequency letter, and build a Huffman tree. If you look at your name is computer science and engineering, look at each letter. You see E appears 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. E is 6 times. C appears 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. So now you build a frequency table. Now once you build a frequency table, you have to build a Huffman tree. And how do you build a Huffman tree? You look at the frequency, remember, take the smallest node, let's say U and T. So when I take U and T, I say U, T, the probability, this becomes 2. Now look at M and P, look at the lowest frequency, again, you're looking at frequency 1. A frequency 1 is same as probability. If you look at, if you were to look at in this case, total elements is 6 plus 12, 18 plus 3, 21 plus 4, 25, 28, 30. So probability of E is 6 by 30. Probability of C is 3 by 30. So these are the I is 3 by 30. So looking at this probability, you have to build a Huffman tree. So let's look at how to build a Huffman tree. First, I'd say, let's say, take the lowest probability, which is 1 by 30. So M T, make a single node. Now this probability becomes 2 by 30. Now there are other nodes there. So we say M, T, make a single node, and this probability is 2 by 30. Now we have other node, which is again probability 1 by 30, let's say O and P. This again becomes 2 by 30. Look at other nodes which are, so keep building Huffman tree, keep picking lowest number elements, and keep building Huffman tree, and this finally what you basically get. And that's the question. So given this frequency, build a Huffman tree, and once you build a Huffman tree, then you have to encode basically. That's what the question is. And given encoding of the names, so, and now once you build a tree, you have a tree here, so left side, you basically give a value 0, right side 1, 0, 1, and a leaf would be, finally get a leaf. So encoding a leaf would be 0, 0, 0, 1, whatever that comes in, that's Huffman encoding. So look at the lecture note, what we discussed, Huffman encoding, and that's what you need to proceed and do that. Let me know any question there. on the optimal encoding. Do you have a class now? It's almost 10 o'clock. Hello? Do you have a class now? Can
Yes,
I
sir, it
continue?
is there.
Yes, sir.
We have a class. So let me stop there. I'll probably go through, and those who want to understand, I can probably, when is the class is over today? Or I can explain the other assignments. What time
4
classes would be over?
4
4, so I don't think then you have time. So maybe what I'll try to do is record this thing and upload it, and quickly we can have class tomorrow 9 o'clock just to explain for remaining assignment. So those who are interested can join. Those who already understood, they don't have to join. That's what it is. So I'll do only class.
Sir,
only
can you
for,
explain the
yeah.
question?
Sir, you can continue. You can continue. We don't have class.
You don't have class? Okay, then I can continue. Fine. So is this part clear, optimal encoding? Let me know who is not clear about the optimal encoding part. Anyone is not clear about optimal encoding? Let me know. So I'll continue, assuming this is clear. Next is the game of 3 dices. Basically, let's say you're playing a game. You throw the 3 dices, compute the sum that appears, and your job is to make a guess. We know that if you throw 3 dices, the probability of number appearances frequency is like this. Some 3 would appear only once, some 4 would appear 3 times, some 5, like why some 4 appear 3 times? Because a number could be 1, 1, 2, it could be 1, 2, 1, or it could be 2, 1, 1. So sum is 4, so sum 4 appears 3 times. Some 5 appears 6 times because your number could be 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. So sum 6 appears, sorry, sum 5 appears 6 times. Similarly, 6 appear 10 times, and so on and so forth. You will see I have basically given the frequency. Now question is your job is to, somebody thrown the 3 dices, your job is to find out what is the sum by asking minimum number of questions. I know that if I do binary search, so you can ask a question, is this sum 6? Is this sum 7? You can even ask, is this sum greater than 8? Is this sum 5, 6, or 10? But answer should be only yes or no. And your job is to find the number by asking minimum number of questions. If you look, if you were to do binary search, if I were to put the number, if I were to put binary order, then I can ask, is the number greater than 10? So that makes it half. Then I can, if the number, let's say sum happens to be, let's say 14. Sum happens to be 14. First question is greater than 10? If say yes, then I say is greater than these, sorry, numbers are between 3 to 8. So I got the 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So greater than 10 means I ask, is this number greater than 14? Answer is no. Then I look at number greater than 13. Answer is yes. Then I know answer is 14. So within 4 questions, by doing a binary search, we can always give the answer within 4 questions. If I do a binary. Now question is, can I do better? We know that, and in this case, we're not making use of the different properties. The question is, how do I make a question so that my expected average number of questions is less? So essentially, you build a Huffman tree with the frequencies. So look at total, if you look at total number of chances are 216. So chances of 3 coming is would be 1 by 216. Chances of 4 appearing would be 3 upon 216. Chances of 5 appearing would be 6 upon 216. Chances of 7 appearing would be 15 upon 216. So your probability of each of these numbers. Now that you know the frequency and probability, build a Huffman tree. And now start from the root. You know, root corresponds to whatever the numbers. And then you ask question, is this number among these? And if you look at, by the way, you'll find out, if you take the average and length encoding, like the binary numbers, my average encoding is 4 digits. But if you take the average frequency with this, you probably see average encoding to be 3 point something. So that means on the average, you'll ask that many questions. So you can ask a question, let's say my root corresponds to, when I build a root, let's say my root corresponds to 4, 5 and the number, let's say 11. So I can ask, is your number 4, 5, 11? If answer is yes, go to the right tree or go to the left tree, and whatever this tree corresponds to could be 4 and 5. I can say, is it 4 and 5? If answer is yes, go to the right. If no, go here. Then say answer 4. And within 3 queries you answered. Here you answered within 1 query. So if you look at the average length, average encoding the Huffman tree is going to be 3.0, 3 point something, with binary encoding of 4 digits. But if you look at the number which is appearing only 1, let's say some 3, you may have to answer 5 or 6 questions. But on the average, when you look at expected encoding, this should be something 3 point something, 3.1 or 3.2. So average number of questions come down from 4 to 3, and that is basically this game. Any questions about this? So job is, given these frequencies, build a Huffman tree. Once you build a Huffman tree, you know what the root node corresponds to, left and right, and keep asking those questions. And find the average number of encoding size, and that becomes average number of questions. So you can look at this way. If you were to make something and say you're charging, let's say, what I would say, you are charging 15 rupees for the guy, and if you say, if I ask any question, I'll give you 4 rupees back. So because you have to do binary search, if you ask 4 questions, you end up paying 16 rupees, and you only got 15, so you're making a loss of money. But if you do this Huffman tree, and you ask on the average 3.2 questions, you'll probably be returning 12.8 rupees, you got 15 rupees, and that's how you make about 2.2 rupees with on the average. If you remember game of 7, throw 2 dice, less than 7, you get double the money, or equal to 7, you get triple the money, you still make money. And that is how the game basically works. So game 3 tries to build a Huffman tree. Based on the Huffman tree, you ask the right questions, expected encoding, and that is what the question is about. Any questions about this? Any query about question number 6? If no, I'll proceed then. So next is generalized single source shortest path. You're given a tree graph details like what we talked about in the beginning. So basically, build a shortest tree path. You have the as cost. Now what you need to do is, the second argument is source tree, and cost of path that basically give minimum cost for given source vertex to all other vertices. So that is what is applying normal Dexter algorithm. That is what the question is about. So generalize single source shortest path. So what is given to you is, for normally if you look at the Dexter algorithm, we have only edge cost. But what we're doing here is we also have a vertex cost. So let's say for each vertex, we also have a cost. You want to know is something like we're visiting a city, you're going on a route. So one is you travel the road and you pay for the petrol, but when you stay in a city, you also pay for the hotel stay. And you want to build a tour with minimum cost. What you need to do is to define the cost of path as sum of the edge cost plus sum of the vertices cost. So for in Dexter algorithm, we take vertices cost as 0, but here my cost of path is sum of the cost of edges plus cost of vertices is my, and so apply this cost of vertices as well into the single source shortest path to modify Dexter algorithm, where in addition to the edge cost, you also look at the cost of vertex, add it, and that is what will give you generalized single source shortest path. The generalized version of Dexter algorithm did the assignment. Any questions? Am I audible, guys? Can you hear me still? Anyone?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
okay. Any question about question 7?
Sir,
Yeah.
so
Go ahead.
what about this argument 1, like about the file?
So how to give a,
Can you explain how the file should be?
so how to give a file name? Okay. Now what we're saying is file has first line is n. Let's say I'll give an example there. Let's say first line contains 5 and 10. That means I have 5 vertices and 10 edges. Now for each vertices, what is my cost? So I would say vertex 1 cost is 3, vertex 2 cost is 4, vertex 3 cost is 10, vertex 4 cost is 6, vertex 5 cost is 2. And then for each of the 10 edges, I'll give a cost. What is 10 edges? 1 to 2 cost is 10, 1 to 4 cost is 5, 1 to 6, no, only 5 vertices, so 6 cannot be there. 1 to 3 cost is 6, 2 to 4 7, 3 to 5 cost is 6. So this is how my file will look like. So I'm giving you vertex cost plus I'm also giving you edge cost. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
And then build a conditional. And second argument is source vertex starting from there. No questions, let me move ahead. It is single destination shortest path. Our Dexter algorithm gives you from single source. Now I'm saying, given my graph, it's a directed graph. And this is my, let's say, vertex. So 1, 2, 3. So this is vertex 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I'm saying I want to find the shortest cost to vertex 9 from everywhere else. In Dexter algorithm, we are saying from a single source. But I'm saying for a single destination 9, what the shortest cost from each node. So how do you go about it? Basically take the given graph, convert this problem to single source shortest path. How do you convert? Reverse the edge direction. So reverse the edge direction. Now you look at this becomes my source. So perform Dexter algorithm, find the cost to all other vertex, and get the answer basically from all the sources to the destination. So reverse the edge direction, and then your destination becomes a source. Perform the extra algorithm and get your answer. Any questions? That is what it is. Okay. Next is the bridge crossing problem. We just want to show that greedy approach always does not work. This problem is basically taken from a book, your book example, and what's saying is, let's say there is a bridge, and in the night, only two people can cross the bridge at a time. They need a torch, and that means when two people go, the people have to walk together, and different people at different speed. Different people take different time. So when n people and their time is given, let's say the time is 3, 5, 10, 21, 25. Now if person number 1 and person number 25 walks together, both will take 25-second time because they have to walk together with the torch. Now everybody has to cross a bridge. Without the torch you cannot cross a bridge. So one person has to come back. So person smallest time, let's say 3, comes back. Now again 3 goes with, let's say 5 or 10, whatever goes. So this is the problem how to cross. Two people goes together, one comes back with a torch, then two people goes together. So my greedy approach, what's the greedy approach? You can say, let's look at the people who take minimum time, or you can take people who take maximum time. Whatever approach you take, apply that approach, and then see what is the answer you get. Now using the same approach, apply this to given this solution 1, 2, 5, and 10. And if you look at the optimal solution is everybody can cross the bridge in 17 seconds, but if you take a greedy approach, it's probably going to give you 19 or 20 seconds. What you're trying to show is greedy approach always does not work. And that's the example is. So taking a greedy approach, solve the bridge crossing problem, compute the time, and then verify if you apply the greedy approach to this problem, your time would be a lot more than 17, even though optimal is 17. Do you know how to get 17 for optimal solution? So essentially what you do is, no, first 1 and 10 goes, it takes 10 seconds. Now 1 comes back, time becomes 11 seconds. Now 2 and 5 goes together, it takes 5 seconds. No, is this what it did? No, something is wrong. I'll probably tell you. It is 10 and 11. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I made a mistake there. So you're saying 1 and 2 goes. It takes 2 seconds. 1 comes back. 3 seconds. Then 5 and 10 goes. No, this will not work. Yeah, 5 and 10 goes. It becomes 13 seconds. Now 2 comes back. It becomes 15 seconds. And now 1 and 2 goes back. It becomes 17 seconds. That's how you get optimal. But this no greedy approach will help you out. That was the question. Any questions about this bridge crossing problem? All we want to show is greedy approach always does not work, and especially for this case. Again, this is taken from the Levitin book. I think chapter 1. If you look at the example, is given there. Any questions about this? Is problem clear? Anyone? Gunal or Harshit, are we clear? Anyone? Is this problem clear? Am I audible? Hello? Ashwini, can you hear me or anyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So is the question clear? What is to be done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me move to the next problem, which is basically Kruskal algorithm. Given the input graph, one is build a tree where make sure union takes order one time. Implement this, and now look at each as cost is increased by one. Build a minimum cost spanning tree, and your job is to see, do I get same spanning tree? When I increase the edge cost, whether by one or some constant, it may not always give you same spanning tree. So job is to basically take any example and provide two examples where in one case, when you increase by one, it gives the same spanning tree. In other example, it does not. So this basically would happen if you take the minimum spanning tree and each edge cost the path, if there is less than 2, then you can probably see, or less than the path length. So we look at the node A, and let's say node B, and this is my whatever edge cost is, let's say this is 10. But if I were to look at intermediate path C, and let's say this cost is 4.5, and this cost is, I would say, what is called, no, what I'm trying to say is 5.6 or something. I look at, so this becomes, what I wanted to say is want to show something. So if I increase by some amount, you probably take a different edge and will not get that. So we work out when you increase everything by 1 or 2 or something, you'll probably see your spanning tree could be different. So first, make sure that that is what the problem is. I can work out an example and give you that given the case, how to work out a tree where S costs are different. So you may get a different spanning tree than what you got so far. And that's essentially what you're basically saying. So given the graph, build a spanning tree using union taking order one time. Remember, Kruskal takes two approaches, either union takes order one time or find takes order one time. So first assignment is union taking order one time, build a spanning tree. Now change the edge cost and see do you get same spanning tree. And job is to give two examples where spanning tree remains the same, in other case, spanning tree changes, and I can work out simple example and send you that. Question number 11 is same, except that now find takes order one time. So there are two implementations of Kruskal. One is union takes order one time, other find takes order one time, and we are doing the same thing, basically do that part. So one is using find order one time, other union taking order one time. Both happen to be the same. And you can always find if you increase by certain cost, spanning tree may not remain the same, and I can give those examples. Last one was the variant of knapsack problem. Given a knapsack, certain weights, let's say there are weights with a different profit. Now I want to fill my knapsack. Hello? Go ahead.
Hello, sir. Sorry for the interrupt.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the concept of the question number 10. Like how to implement that and extract the file from the file.
But to read the file, see, given a graph is from the file, right? Number of nodes, the edges, and each edge cost. So now you build a graph.
Yeah.
Now once you build a graph, now to apply Kruskal algorithm. Kruskal has two variations. One is doing taking union taking order one time. Other is find taking order one time. Look at the notes when we discuss the Kruskal algorithm. You can perform two operations. Remember how the Kruskal works? Kruskal works. We sort the edges in the ascending order, keep picking minimum edge, and see does it form a cycle. How do you form a cycle? When you pick an edge, A, B, you basically see do they belong to the same tree. So every time you build a tree, make all the nodes part of the same group, join them, and that is a union operation. So find the group ID, and union is join it. So what you're saying is one is make a union, joining takes order one time, basically like a pointer. Where in the find one, we put an array and keep incrementing the values. They're two different operations. So we are talking about here union taking order one time. Okay. So reading from a file, get the graph, perform Kruskal operation, and then increase the S cost by constant factor by 1, by 2, whatever, and see do you get the same graph. Sometimes you see you may not get same graph depending on S cost is. And I can give simple example, you can work out, doesn't work out, let me know, and I can get that. Is that fine, Gagan? Question
Yes,
11 is the
fine.
same. It will basically now take find as the order one and not union, is the other way out. So one is taking a union order one time, other is take find order one time. That's the only difference. Question number 12 is variation of the knapsack. You're given the number of elements with different profit. We want to basically maximize the profit. But what we want to do is with minimum number of items. Let's say I have item number 2 whose weight is 4 and profit is 10. And another item whose weight is 5 and weight is 12.5. Another item whose weight is 6 and profit is 15. So if we look at the ratio, weight by profit, for all three of them, it is 2.5. I want to fill my knapsack, I want to fill with minimum number of items. That means rather than picking 4, I should pick 6 because I'm filling my knapsack fast. So when you sort the element, you sort the element in terms of ratio of the profit versus the weight. Sorry, this is bad. It should be profit versus the weight. Not only sort with this, but along with the maximum weight. So we sort these elements along with profit and then maximum weight, and this is what you need to do. So together has to be profit by weight, comma weight, and then sort it out. So that when you pick an element, pick the element even though the same profit, but largest weight. And in that sense, you end up picking up with minimum weight. So variation of knapsack algorithm where you want to still maximum profit, but pick the element which is the highest weight. So that you pick minimum number of elements. And that's the assignment number 12. Any questions about this? So these are also all the questions you look at are some variations of what we studied in theory. That's what the question. Once you understand the basic, you apply the changes and work it out. Any questions on the knapsack? So just lastly, make sure that follow the convention of the file name. Somebody says main, somebody said something else. You don't even put extensions. You don't even know what it is. So assignment 03, your group number G01, G02, P1, P2, whatever that is, and put the extension, make sure so that I know which is the file. Have README to do that and talk about the specific challenges. Like I am not able to find min, don't keep it generic. We found hard, we worked together, we solved the problem. That becomes a very generic statement, doesn't carry any weightage. I want to know what really problem you faced. You are finding a minimum, you end up finding a max. You are trying to insert into a heap, we made a mess, index got violated, we'd compare, identify those elements, give a specific problem rather than generic. Otherwise, it doesn't give any benefit. That's all. So tomorrow we have no class. Prepare well. Your exam is, time. And I know that my Cisco WebEx has only 100 limit. So those if you are not able to join, I also give you Zoom link. So those who can't join Cisco using Zoom link, I will enable the voice. You can ask me there if any doubts. Or we do the chat box if you can ask me. And it's an open book exam. So you can refer to any book, refer to any internet, Google it out. They are all fine. doesn't really matter. But all is greedy approach, all basically what we discussed. So given the problem, apply the concept and solve it. This is what the question would be. And again, even the question is same, but answer of each question would be different. For example, I can ask you, take some your name, take some USN, take your college name, take your childhood school name, or take your school's name, whatever, each will be different, and build a heap, something of that kind. Then you know how to do. So if you know how to do the greedy approach, your paper should be able to solve within half an hour to 45 minutes. If not, then don't try to learn on this part. If any questions, please let me know, otherwise we can stop here. If no questions, thank you. If you still have doubt, you can always ask me any point in time, whatever you'd like to do. Thank you, and look forward to 2 o'clock on Friday. So I'll probably send an email around 1:45, giving you question number. You can start doing it too. And after 3:30, please scan your copy and send the answers. Make sure on each page your page number and USN is mentioned, and on the top page, mention your phone number, email, USN number, name, all those details. Thank you.